Steph Curry jump shot.
The Volvo XC60 plug-in hybrid is about performance, not just on the road, but in life, where the only speed that matters is how fast you can slow down. Performance where it matters the most. Visit volvocars.com/US.
Hey, Chris.
Lesmos Plus. Access to over 2,000 science-backed, endorphin-inducing workouts you'll actually enjoy, with exercises for every mood, every fitness level, and every goal. You can work out anytime, anywhere, on any device. Plus, sign up today and get 14 days free. Find the workout that's right for you. Choose happy.
Thank you.
And download the Lesmos Plus app today. Click or tap the banner to learn more.
I'm not right now. I don't want to be. I don't want to laugh. I don't want anything right now.
Go straight on.
Roger. I don't really care about me right now. Okay.
Go straight on. Go straight on. Go straight on.
Snickers knows we all make rookie mistakes, especially when we're hungry. Like Chargers superfan Phil
Snickers.
logged hard onto his phone, updating his fantasy lineup during his evening commute. It wasn't until they were zipping past his stop that he realized he'd stepped onto an express train that skipped the next 10 stops. This NFL season, don't let game day distractions drive a wedge between you and the Chargers kickoff. Rookie mistake? Maybe you just need a Snickers. Snickers, the official chocolate sponsor of the NFL.
I don't want to hear about your fudge. If it's not Mackinac, it's not real anyway. Don't care. It's not Mackinac Island fudge, it's not real fudge. I didn't live on Mackinac. I was nowhere near it. That was like an entire day's drive. Mackinac's at the top of the mitten. I was at the bottom wrist. That state won't let you go if you go to it. Now you know why I love this game, because I can go places I probably won't. Hi, Sir Brazenbull, how are you? No, they bicycle on the island. They do have some cars, but it's like not, you can't like bring your car, it's just a few of them on there, but mostly it's walking and biking. Thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. I went one time when I was really little, and I made my mom miserable the whole time because I didn't really want to go. Yeah, Streamlabs is being a jerk. Oh, and I'm not paying attention. Sorry, guys. I don't remember what age I was, but my mom and my aunt took my brother, my sister, and I, and you have to go by boat, which was terrifying to me. I think that's pretty much what started it. So we rode the boat, which felt like forever. And then you get there, and immediately you smell like the fudge is just wall to wall. They have a website. They sell them like in these loaves. Like, I want to say they're like an inch and a half thick. So they're not really, really cheap, but they are some of the most amazing fudge ever. Yeah, Streamlabs hates me too. It doesn't let me leave things on my overlay. But we walked around to like look at some of the historic places. Like at that time, that was where everybody and their mother was wanting to get married because they had this rock that has this big hole in it. And so people would stand in front of it and say their vows, and there was like a waiting list a mile long. But it was pretty amazing because it's like lost in history. Like, it's not updated. Everything is old fashioned, and it's amazing. Oh God, Barstow. Why is it that I didn't look that this was going to over by where I actually am? This is just weird.
And then exit right.
But they have the double-seated bicycles, and
Exit right.
it's just like lost in time. Like, they're never gonna go
Okay.
anywhere, but
Let's find a new route.
it's neat, and I just missed my turn. I believe it.
Keep right.
It's beautiful.
And then exit right.
If I thought living there would make you go back in time, I so would.
Exit right.
But I hated it because when I was little, all I wanted to do was just ride rides and do kid stuff, and they
Turn
made
left.
us like walk around. I was just horrible to my mom when I was little, I guess.
Injured from an auto accident? Call Kistler. Kistler Law Firm is a local family.
I'd give anything to go back to that now.
Experience handling thousands
You
of
think your
personal
problems are so bad when you're
just
little?
off the avenue and exit
You're in such a hurry to grow up, and
Turn
then you
left.
do, and it's like adulting is just
Tap the
horrible.
button to schedule your free consultation today. And remember, we charge
But it is,
absolutely
it's
no
lost in
fees.
time. There's lots of them. Frankenmuth, Bronner's.
We all make rookie mistakes,
That's an amazing
especially when we're hungry.
place. Always Christmas, where they celebrate Christmas 365. I know it sounds annoying, but it is the sweetest, most cutest little town ever. Definitely is one of those places that people should have on a bucket list.
Keep right, and then turn right.
Rookie mistake? Maybe you just need a Snickers.
And yet I still wouldn't go back.
Turn right.
Yeah, I think we all do it. We don't mean to, but we all do it. But I like those places that like are lost in time because they're not go, 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 high speed. I'm still waiting for my break in life, so I wanted one back then, and I want one now. I would have to be careful though, because I don't want to lose any of the hate burn. I don't want to lose any of the people that I know now, but I would love to go back and undo some things. Don't hit me. Ugh. You can have Ohio. Hi, KJ. Don't forget, I didn't release anything today. Today has just been a really horrible day, but I am gonna release the Veterans Day veteran stuff on the Fourth Wall website later tonight, if not tomorrow. I'm gonna do a coupon code. It should be 25% off. Also, we are doing our monthly raffle. It is for the one of the merch that I dropped last week, which is the first in, last out for firemen. It is limited size. I believe it's like 2x that it goes up to, but I have to double check. But anyway, those tickets are 2 cookies, aka $ a piece. That link is the one that should be pinned at the top. If not, Pappy's gonna have to find a way to do it. We are working on raising the $275 that we need by the end of this month to file for our 501c3 status. I lost my train of thought. Raffle. But yes, it's also available for sale in the shop itself at KOVHfoundation.org. The hoodies are some of the best-selling ones right now. Mr. Lovebug absolutely was amazing and had 13 items and spent over $300 on that shop, which I've never had in my life. Like, that was amazing. Hey, Red. Not ignoring you. I'm just... Today is not a good day. So we have the monthly raffle that we have going on, which is for the fireman's shirt. I believe there are other colors available, but it actually looks the best on the black. You can always buy it and send it to someone that supports firefighters if you don't, which that's just odd to say because I know everybody does. I'm not fine, but it's okay. So we have that, and we have our website at keepourvetshoused.org. Now more than ever, we need to make sure that we have a place with resources and information and support. So we're going to have to work extra hard at making sure that all of my platforms, whether I'm live on one or all of them, hey Buzz, that we stick with the rules in the TOS, because I need to make sure that the families feel comfortable and safe being in with fellow veterans and veteran supporters. They honestly need all of that right now more than ever. We have a national housing crisis that is going on that nobody's really talking about, nobody's touching. I think it's one of those things that gets slid underneath the rug just because we're all living in apartments and houses and are assumed to be okay. The problem is that for years and years and years and years and years, too many have lost their lives because they're not okay. I know a lot of people hide behind the 22 a day. There is no such thing. It's not a symbol. It's not cute. It's not merch gear to sell. It is a number that represents the men and women who felt like this country has forgotten them or that no longer found value in them, and they didn't have a choice but to take their lives. Operation Deep Dive a few years ago, it was in phase 1. They're now in phase 2, but in phase 1, they scoured coroner reports and found that the true numbers were over 48 veterans a day take their lives, over 11 veteran spouses a day take their lives, which we ourselves as spouses don't even matter. And our children, our babies, that's 8 a day.
Go straight on.
That's too many. But that was 2 years ago, so we know that that number has in fact gone up. Hi, Buzzy Wuzzy. So we have a bunch of new merch at KOVHfoundation.org. We do have the raffle going on, which are 2 cookies, aka $1 a piece. We are trying to get the $2.75 raised by the end of the month, which as soon as I get every single cent of that raised, I'm going to go right online and file so we can get the paperwork printed off. If we don't get it done by the end of the month, we can still do it, but I'm going to have to pay this horrible state $875 in April because we are not tax exempt. That's the franchise fee that California has in place. I would really rather that money go towards these families and towards fighting to hold our congressional asshats accountable. So that's why it's so important right now. Our Cash App is the $, KOVH official. The PayPal that you can use is keepourveteranshoused@gmail.com. Just make sure that if it's for the raffle that you are putting in the memo that it is for the raffle. And if it is just a donation, write in donation in the memo. I do have Venmo if you need that information. You can get a hold of Roger, KJ, or Pappy, and they will get a hold of me and we can get that information to you. Hi Buzz, long time no see. I hope you and your family are doing okay. A lot of people have asked me why I have been doing this since 2014. It is because my family is living proof that this country doesn't actually care about its veteran families. My SO was let go of his job on unjust, illegal, and grotesque reasons that we are not going to get into. Jack did an investigation and found that we had cause to start a lawsuit, that if he would have, he would not have the job he has today. 5 other families' lives were turned upside down for the same BS reasons. What we didn't know was that it would take 18 months for him to find any kind of a job anywhere, not government, but anywhere. Whether it was Wendy's, Home Depot, Lowe's, McDonald's, it didn't matter. The excuses were anything from overqualified to they would not be able to pay him what he was worth. When you're limited because of your disabilities, you can't just go into trucking, just go into delivery driving jobs, or many of the jobs that people seem to have convinced themselves exist, and so therefore it's some kind of a choice. That's not the case. As it stands right now, almost 1 million families, if not more than 1 million families, are going to be homeless before the holidays because we're doing nothing. And those of us who are actually trying to do something are having to constantly keep fighting for the same things that everybody else is trying to fight for. You can buy tickets through Cash App, PayPal, or through the link, which I need to get. Oh no, actually it should be in my Linktree. If you go up and tap my face, click the Linktree link, it should be at the top. I didn't get a chance because, like I said, today is just a horrible, horrible day. But it should work. I know people have problems registering online for things, but that system is for nonprofits and it is highly secure, so you're safe. But it helps us to keep track of how many tickets are bought and where those are coming from, so we can kind of see who is supporting us and what country they're supporting us from. We have a lot of international supporters.
Get ready to turn right.
Rookie mistake? Maybe you just need a Snickers. Snickers.
So again, the Cash App is $KOVH official. And the PayPal is keepourveteranshoused@gmail.com. We thought we were going to be in the clear and that we could start breathing again when we got our loan mod, except that is not the case because the lender again lied and betrayed us. It's all legal, and yet now we are the equivalent of 2 payments behind. If we do not get our payments caught up by the end of December, we will lose everything. I saw that, sorry. I can't even think about us. it's not about us, it's about these other families, because every time I get an email from them or a message, they have children. Justin and his family were an example of that. I can't imagine Christmas coming and having to explain to your children that Santa Claus does love them, but they're not going to get a Christmas this year because they're having to choose between rent or mortgage payments, that this country was too naive and too invested into taking care of them once they got their DD-214s to help them out with. $275. We keep raising money, but because of our overhead, like the website and the electric bill that we got stuck with, because I tried to help a single father who was a veteran, a combat vet, with an autistic son, we keep having to try and keep those things going. So we have a goal of $275. That's not something I've made up. It actually, if people want to investigate, can go to the IRS website and see how much the smaller of the two is. There are two amounts, $275, which is the easy form, which will limit us and make it harder for us to get grants, and $600, which is the one that I originally wanted, that didn't have so much of a cap, which I think is $25,000 a year. But if we're having that much trouble trying to get the $600 together, the $275 just seemed more realistic. So a lot of things are going to change this week, unfortunately, because some very recent events have caused that to happen. So just to give everyone a heads up. More. Also, I am going to be shutting my DMs off everywhere. If people need to get a hold of me, they need to go through Roger or Pappy or KJ or Cody. What did you do, Buzz? You didn't answer me. Is you and your family doing okay? I know you guys are on the East Coast, so you're not really getting into the winter stuff yet. But I did see that temperatures are getting colder. Are you telling me to check my Venmo? I swear to God, if you make me cry. Hold on. If you make me cry any more than I already have, we're gonna have issues. Breakdowns in equipment. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Buzz, I don't even know what to say. Why is it every time that we have needed help that you have been and your family have been there to step up? I know what life being crazy is like, but thank you for that. Thank you doesn't even... I told you not to make me cry. Buzz just donated enough to get the 501c3. You're okay. Thank you so much. So now the board has work to do tonight, because I told them before that well, maybe not tonight because it's late, but I am not doing it by myself, so now you've given them work to do. Thank you. Thank you. Like, we owe so many thank yous to so many people. We owe a thank you to Buzz and to All in a Days and Becca and Trip. We owe thank yous to Moore and his group because they made it possible for me to keep doing something by being online and getting the computer that 2 days after I got it, my laptop died. And Roger, because he's always been there and probably always will. And for the love of God, Pappy, because he's around every day even when he doesn't feel good. And KJ, because he's always around when he can, every time he can, even if it's to try and help me figure out how to undo a mess that I make. I don't think thank you is enough.
Injured from an auto accident? Call Kistler. Kistler Law Firm is a local family-run business.
I don't even think that every time I tell you guys the stats and the facts that it resonates as much as it probably should.
If you were injured from an auto accident,
you have to actually be here in these shoes in order to really understand how horrible it is. We all have hard times and we all have gotten through them, but sometimes things like this just are that much worse because there isn't always that hand up that people have out to help you, and if people don't know where to go, they just feel like they've got nowhere else to go and nothing else, and they don't have a choice but to give up. And every time someone takes their life because they feel that way, that's on all of us, because there are so many things that we can do. If you are a streamer, if you are a creator, if you have connections in your job or in your own little world, it's nothing, it costs nothing to help us try and get ads and to push the message and the petition. And it's more important now than ever because winter is here and there are going to be so many people who lose their houses and live in their cars and probably won't make it. Buzz, you have done so much. I can't even add up the receipts. Like KJ, when I have to do taxes, it's going to be busy because I still have to get him all the receipts from the other stuff. Justin and Amanda owe you so much. I have to check in with them. You guys are such a big part of our family. It just doesn't feel like thank you is enough. There's Mrs. Buzz. Yeah, so thank you. Just doesn't feel like enough. I was not expecting to be made to cry. This is ridiculous. I'm an ugly crier as it is. I don't even know what to say. If you're just joining, Buzz just made it possible for us to file our 501c3. I'm not happy crying. This is a bad day. This is like just a really bad day, but this was so important. And it has nothing to do with me. It just needs to get done. It needed to get done. And every time I thought I was setting money aside, I've had to pay for the website. I need to get you my phone number if I haven't already given it to you, because if you guys want to help, there are other things besides making me lose my mind and you guys spending money that you should be saving for Christmas for your family. Before I forget, also, in my link tree is 2 Amazon wish lists. One of them is for our own project, which we've really not even done anything for yet. The list is made up of things to put in care packages, which is very much like the ones that a lot of nonprofits do every winter for the homeless veterans. The only difference is instead of survival and warm stuff, these care packages are feel-good care packages. We called it We've Got Your Backpacks because we want them to know that no matter what, no matter how bad things get, that there are people who actually do know that they exist and care. It is editable, so if there's something that you want to add that's not on the list, then go ahead and add it. That you can help us with, because that will help us, especially in time for Christmas, get care packages to some of the families that we've already helped. Justin and his family, I almost guarantee you they're struggling to try and get things together and haven't even thought about Christmas presents, because bills is one of the most important things. We already are able to help vets in every state. We just have a hard time. It pretty much is just me who is doing the state by state research on regulations and legislation. Everyone else has got other things they've got going on, and they're so super busy, including Pappy. So I try to get their help when I can. But we already are able to help. We've helped New York, Florida, Georgia. I'm trying to go back over the last few years because I'm trying to remember every single face, and it's hard. This 501c3 status was so that we get to do tax exempt. So if we can file, when we file, which, hold on, I'm going to pause music. What that means is that now, let's say Roger has a connection to Joe Schmo at some fancy place that he knows, right? Because we will have that 501c3 status now, when he goes and they ask, he can say yes. And so then they will be more likely to donate money, or which can be larger now, or donate actual items. Target has stepped up in the past with gift cards when we didn't have it. I actually helped Carpe get Christmas presents last year for his fundraiser. They were donated for free. I think it was like almost $1,000. But without it, it makes it really hard because they don't get the kickback, and so they're not as likely to. of course, I need to put together that packet. That's kind of why I need two of me, and my whole world is just upside down here. I have so much other stuff, and now I have even more new stuff that I'm trying to do. But I can do that. I don't want you guys to overdo it because I know you guys are all busy, but um, learning your state legislation and regulations on VA foreclosures is so important because then, even just out in your community, you can actually help get people in the right direction. Learning what is available in your communities and in your state is as easy as going into the state website and researching or trying to get the email addresses for your representatives and see what is available for veterans in the way of housing assistance for mortgages. They have a lot for rent. I haven't found too many states that don't have a lot for rent. They have it. The problem is there are very few who do anything at all once you buy the house. Now they're making it even easier for new home buyers to get into one, but they're still not doing anything to help these families get into their own mortgages that they've already gotten back on their feet. And at the end of December, which is when our doomsday is, um, if these families aren't caught up or don't qualify for any of the same programs that they've not qualified for in the past, if their lender doesn't refer them over to the VA for that VAST program, they're done. There is no get out of jail free card. With us, we have used up every legal resource possible. We've spent almost $30,000 fighting for a house that is falling apart and needs to be fixed, but we don't have anything else, so we have had to stay and fight. This pretty much is ground zero. So learning your state programs and finding what nonprofits exist, vetting them and seeing, what is available and isn't available will definitely help. Too many people are so quick to say the VA will help you or the American Legion or the VFW. Every single person I have tried to get to call them have come back to me pissed at me because they were told they don't have the funding. No, the lenders can refer them to the VA. We did this blog post. If people have time, they really need to go read it. I wish this was something I was making up, but this has been what we've been talking about, especially Pappy and I, for almost a year. So what happened was all of those COVID forbearances got extended out and are now currently extended out. They had no plan to help us, none. Neither party approved the program that was available to us that we could have used. It expired 2 years ago in October. I think it's October 21st. In fact, one of the videos in my TikTok is the one with Trip talking about it. It gives you the date. This is all that I do every single day. I am reading, listening to podcasts, scouring the state websites, going to the White House website, going back over all of the COVID stuff, because even though people want to wipe it out like it's not even here anymore, there are still forbearances that are coming due that these families can't get caught up on. So the VA put up this kind of like, we want your input. We did post about it. In fact, I think Pappy even did, where they were asking lenders for their input. They didn't ask us. They don't care about us. They asked the lenders, how can we help you get your money? Even though these are VA guaranteed loans and they will always get their money, always. The biggest problem that people have got to understand, this is not a you'll be fine in 2 years and get back on your feet. What is being done to veterans is they put their life on the line for a country that now is allowing them to let the government take a huge percentage of their home buying rights if, for God, whatever reason, they end up in forbearance and can't get out of it and can't pay now because it's too much, or their house goes to auction. We're penalized. It can be anywhere from 15% to up to 35 to 45%, depending. So if you're in an area because you can't afford to move, that costs like what we do, where rent is like $3,500 for a 3-bedroom. Plus, you have to have 6 months of positive payments and a security deposit plus pets. Losing that percentage of home buying rights means you can't afford as much house. So now you're stuck. That's the punishment for defaulting on a VA loan. You're fine. You can always text me, call me, it doesn't matter. I can even, we have a, Pappy actually should get you guys the information. We have a community group that I think, we need to start using to kind of get that kind of information out to let people kind of do their own work. You don't have to be a nonprofit to do this, right? You, as someone who actually cares about veteran families, you can do it yourself. You don't have to be a nonprofit. All you have to do is get an email for your representatives and ask them the hard questions. Where do you stand on VA foreclosures? Where do you stand on keeping veterans who buy their homes in time of crisis or a pandemic, or if things go really bad for the economy? Where do you stand on helping to make sure they get to keep their homes? That's what you have to do. It's just as simple as getting, a hold of their contact information. In a perfect world, you could email them, they will care and get back to you. But I have had on auto send since 2014 the emails for every representative, well, except for one because she's no longer alive. I've never gotten a response back. They don't care. It's not beneficial for them to care. They look at the grand scheme of the population, and there are not as many veterans and families of veterans as there are other people. And that's who they focus on. The media will cover stories if a representative makes them do it. I don't have any pull. I don't have any connections. I don't have anything. So when I keep sending to the LA Times or to our local radio or news stations our press releases, I get nothing. They don't care. They just don't. I thought the petition would have had more signatures by now, and that would make them have to care. It just hasn't. We've got over 1,000, but it's not enough. But that's what you can do. Learn your state contact information for your representatives, regardless of what party you support. It's not about politics, it's about accountability. These families don't have that luxury anymore, sitting back and not doing much of anything. Too many of them are actually going to be homeless. And we've been telling and telling and telling the same story since forever and a day. And it's just not getting any better because most people just don't care. So that's one of the ways for free that people can and make a huge difference. The more people that ask the questions or that share our information, the better. You can go to our website and you can absolutely grab the press releases. The most recent one, I think, is still towards the top. And you can download it and start sending it to your local TV stations, your news stations, your radio stations. That is absolutely another way that you can help. And it doesn't cost you a thing. Thank you, Celtic. We do. We really do. We are still, if you do the research, we are still the only organization, the only entity that is focused on the foreclosures. There is not a single one. And it's not because there's not for trying. It's just because it's easier to lump things into the homeless veterans once they lose their homes to help them because there's more money available. Those are the programs that are getting it. Once we get 501c3, I am not going to let a minute go by where we aren't fighting for every dollar that we can get from every single entity that we can. Thank you, Buzz. Thank you guys so much. I actually am going to reset because I need a break because I was not expecting that, and I need to just reset everything. So I love you guys, and I will try and be back in a little while. I have more stuff I've got to try and figure out. 1,158 signatures. So I'm going to reset everything, and thank you guys so much for the follow and for the raid.